Hello, YouTube. This is That Phillies Fan, and welcome to my second episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about two topics. We're going to discuss the Florida Marlins' financial troubles and tons of signings, and we're going to discuss the Nationals' Take Back the Park program, which has already backfired. And I'm going to start with the Nationals' situation here. For those of you who don't know, when the Phillies play the Nationals every year in DC, there's always a huge amount of Phillies fans that show up. Like I'm talking like 3/4 of the ballpark sometimes, and it almost feels like a home game. Even watching it on your TV, you hear people shouting like "Juge and Raul." Like it, they have. I can understand why they're complaining. Um, but then the Nationals ownership kind of decided to do something kind of weird. They decided they were going to go out and they were going to start this kind of unofficial program called the Take Back the Park program, in which they were strongly advising Nationals fans not to put their tickets up for um, like to the public so that Phillies fans could buy them and come to the games. Now, I don't understand this for two reasons. For one, it's just going to make Phillies fans want to go there more, um, which it already has, and Philly fans are already buying him. And two, um, it's making them money. They normally don't get a lot of fans anyway, so I don't understand um, what the problem is if Phillies fans come because they're paying the Nationals. They're filling up their ballpark. Um, so, to start out one, this is the reason why it was dumb. Um, I know that actually, for myself, um, I have decided to speak up against this, if you will, by buying tickets for the May 5th game in Washington. Um, but I honestly think that the idea was just really not thought out unless they are trying to get more Phillies fans to come and they're just kind of doing like kind of like the I don't know, like reverse psychology, whatever. Um, but if they were actually trying to keep Phillies fans out of the ballpark, this was the dumbest thing they could have done. Um, and also, there is nothing they could have done in the first place because you can't stop fans from coming to the ballpark. That's stupid. Um, Now, the second topic I'm going to talk about is uh, the Florida Marlins and what seems to be an unknown infinite source of money. Um, it's really the way I'm putting it. So far, the Marlins have signed Mark Burley, uh, Jose Reyes, um, just a long list of stars. Now they're looking at Yoenis Cespedes, and it seems like they just have all this money to hand out. And apparently, they were saving. What I'm hearing is that they were saving money, um, the little they were making, from like just before they built the new ballpark, so that when they built the ballpark, they would have money to buy players, um, to so that people would come to the new ballpark. Now, here's the problem. Okay. Over the years, the Tampa Bay Rays have been better than the Marlins by a long shot. They've gained lots of fans since '08 when they broke out. Um, but if you think about this, that even in 2008, when the Rays got to the World Series against the Phillies, they couldn't fill their ballpark in the World Series. Um, so knowing that the Rays probably already have lots of the fans that the Marlins might want, um, that it doesn't bode well for them. I for the Marlins, that is, because I feel like um, the the Marlins build a new ballpark, costs tons of money. They buy all these players, it costs tons of money. This feels a lot like 2003. In 2003, the Marlins had all these really good players. They win the World Series. All of a sudden, they're all too expensive to They, like, some of them want raises. They don't want that some of them don't want to resign, and their team basically blows up and they financially implode. I think that's what's going to happen again. Um, and I'm not trying to insult Marlins fans. It's nothing against you guys. I'm I'm proud of you for being a Marlins fan. But the they didn't have the money in the first place, and they're basically taking for granted that this new ballpark is going to sell out and get lots of people. I don't think that's going to happen. If I was to put together a graph, I would say that it would start out where people would come, and then just as the season went on, especially if they don't perform up to expectations, they're just going to plummet back to where they were before. And if they make the playoffs, maybe they survive for a year. But I'm going to go by like the Philadelphia Eagles theory here, and I'm going to say that this team is so like disjointed because it's all free agents and people who have never played with each other before that I don't see how they could meld as a team. For example, the Phillies won the the World Series with a team, not just like single players. Despite the fact the New York Yankees are known for signing people, their team was made up of like Derek Jeter, Posada, Hideki Matsui, people who have, the players that had been there for years. They had that mold. Um, I don't. The Marlins don't have that. They only have the best players in the team are all players that they got minus Mike Stanton, and we don't know how he's going to do after last year. Yes, he had a great year and was definitely a Rookie of the Year candidate, but if he's going to be elite, I think he's going to have to hit at least 20 points on his batting average more because he's hitting 264. He had 264 last season, and I think that if he's going to be like someone that's like perennial all-star, like that good homegrown sort of player, you got to hit at least 280, bud. Hitting 260 and 34 homers, you could say that's like a Ryan Howard plus injury year, and you'd be right. But I'm not saying that Ryan Howard hitting 34 home runs and hitting 260 is what I want from Ryan Howard. But that's a topic for another day. I I believe that what's going to happen is the Marlins will start the season. They'll think they're getting what they want. All of a sudden, the team's going to collapse. No one's going to come to the ballpark, and they're going to financially implode again. And it's going to be worse than 2003 because the Marlins right now, I mean, they just spent money on a new ballpark, not just new players. And if they sign Yoenis Cespedes, I mean, I don't see where they're getting the money for this. Like, something weird's going on here because they really don't. Um, what else? When it comes to where the Marlins will place, I think they can place as high as second, and I think they can place as low as fourth if they don't play well. Because the Nationals do scare me. I mean, not this year, but I would say give them a couple, maybe 3 to 5 years, and I think that the Nationals are going to be a real competitor, especially because the Nationals have all this homegrown talent. They got Bryce Harper, they got Steven Strasburg, and these players are coming up. And not to mention they have Ryan Zimmerman, who's one of my favorite players in baseball. I actually share my birthday with him, fun fact. But the fact that you have these young players who are coming up and they're giving them time to mold into their place, on top of just a team that you can tell is going to perform well just based on just their players that they aren't paying that much money for, who are performing higher than the money they make. Um, and they'll have room eventually, especially if and I think when more fans come to the games. That because the Nationals actually do have a lot of fans. It's just that lots of them don't go to to the games. Um, I think that they're gonna um, really show this year. It wouldn't surprise me if they got third, maybe second, if they surprise people. They're not a World Series competitor right now, or division competitor, but give them a couple years. I think they're at least good enough to make the playoffs through a division win. Because the Phillies are getting older, which is scaring me a little bit because like players like Dominic Brown are taking a while to become major league ready. If he will ever be, and the and what's called and the Nationals are getting these homegrown players that are just ridiculous. Like Bryce Harper is amazing, Steven Strasburg is amazing, and yeah. So that was my talk for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I will respond to your comments if you have anything to say. I will absolutely respond to your comment, even if you want to tell me I'm wrong. So. Um, This is That Phillies Guy, and I'll see you later.